Do you care if a CEO dates an employee if everyone seems to be getting their work done? Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So a columnist for the Globe and Mail argues that a boss should be held to the highest standards. He or she is the ultimate owner of a company's code of conduct and core values. Therefore, the question is, do you care if your boss is dating a coworker of yours?
You guys care? First of all, what does he look like and how much does he make?
Wait a second.
Wait, I'm playing. I think, you know what, I know a lot of companies have the policy where they don't allow this, but I think the heart wants what the heart wants, and if you're talking about adults, you're not gonna stop them, even if the company says they don't want to. But I don't think there's a hard and fast rule, because I think it's a case by case. It depends on the maturity of the two adults in that relationship. For example, I have a girlfriend who is in a relationship with a person, and he is her boss. They have had many extensive discussions about how they handle the breakup, the discretion they're gonna have, and how they're gonna move in the workplace. So I'm not worried about them. Plus, they both have agreed they have a lot to lose if this goes south. I also have worked with people where there was a boss dating a subordinate, and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for everybody who worked around them, because you couldn't call out the subordinate for getting favoritism. They were doing stuff in front of us, and it was very uncomfortable. And then when that relationship was over, the subordinate went around talking about our boss's genitals. There were things in the relationship, and it became so disgraceful. So again, I think it comes down to a person by person. But again, what does he look like? No, I'm like, forget it. But what do you guys think? Would you do it? I've never dated, by the way, I've never dated anybody in our industry.
Because he wasn't cute enough, or?
Didn't make enough money.
Leaving it alone. Leaving it alone. Leaving that alone.
I'm okay with workplace affairs when they're on the same level. Like if people are on the same
affair.
Wait,
well, I mean, we're talking about relationships, affairs.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
she might be.
I don't care if people are having an affair. It's none of my business. If they're on the same level, I think it does get complicated when you get a power imbalance. For sure, I'm not going to argue that. But I guess I would say, like, what about other scenarios whereby, let's say they start off at the same level, but one gets a promotion. What do you do then?
I think someone has to quit.
You think someone has to quit?
Or change departments.
Okay.
Listen, like you brought up you're thinking about the two people involved. I'm thinking about the team. If a person is dating their boss, who's also my boss, and they're getting preferential treatment, I'm mad about that. If that person is in bed with my boss, telling them things about me, I'm not happy about that. So I think if you really love this person, ask for a department change.
Okay, I know, but sometimes it doesn't work that way.
But also, I would ask the question of, like, what about, okay, so that scenario painted, I understand that, but what about favoritism in the workplace? We all know, like, how would you feel any different if your boss was becoming very close friends with an employee? That is a favoritism situation that we don't talk about. So why does the company get to make rules and regulations around romantic relationships when relationships of all kinds can influence a boss? I'm just throwing that out there.
Wait, I feel like there can be more manipulation when it's a sexual relationship.
I don't know. Best friends can do a lot of manipulating.
I know, but
mean girls can do a lot of manipulating. Not that usually. Anyway.
I think clearly the policy has to be clear, and it has to be at the outset right away. I also don't have a problem if people who are coworkers and considered equals are dating, because for me it is about the power. I think on paper it's fine and dandy if everything's going well, but if and when things go south and there is a power differential, you think you can rationally think through it and talk through it ahead of time, but like many marriages and divorces show, things can get ugly. Yeah. And I think you know, but you're also, to the point of the columnist, you are setting an example for everybody else. And so there's the CEO, but what if there's a manager and a subordinate and somebody else who's a subordinate? So I also think about the team in all of this part. We like to believe that work is a meritocracy, that it is how good you are that gets you places, but this muddies the water. Yeah. And I think when you're talking about corporate culture, there is no room for muddy waters. And I think somebody has to quit and move on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's also a distraction to the whole office, because as much as you think nobody knows, somebody
knows.
Always knows.
I don't know. We're going to move on to this. I have so much more to say, but we'll circle back later on.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.